Perhaps it's time to turn off the lights and let the casinos in Las Vegas fall asleep, as no one is dreaming big enough to stay up all night for a chance at a big win anymore. The city, once as radiant as a desert mirage, has suddenly become heavy, as everything here has turned into a burden. Housing is expensive, cars are expensive, meals are expensive, hotel rooms are expensive, and even healthcare is suffocatingly expensive. It's not easy for those who are still sober to accept rushing into cost traps, just to cling to a few fleeting memories that Vegas has chosen to forget. But when the lights went out, it didn't just sweep away the dreams of tourists. It also led to the disappearance of the barcodes scanned on employee ID cards. Thousands of workers who once kept the wheels of Vegas turning now face the reality of being pushed out onto the streets, carrying with them a sense of bewilderment in a city that no longer has a place for them. And that's the real nightmare, when Vegas not only loses customers, but also inadvertently erases the very people who created its heartbeat. In today's video, we'll step through the dim lights of Vegas to get a closer look at the nightmarish vortex engulfing this city. From empty casinos and faded tourist dreams to unemployed workers struggling to find shelter. Is this just a tragedy for Vegas, or a sign of an economic shadow falling over the entire United States? Let's discover the truth together right now. Perhaps the biggest big win for tourists today wasn't the cheers in the casino, but the very decision not to go to Las Vegas anymore. According to data from Harry Reid International Airport sent to LVCVA, in just 2 months, approximately 1 million visitors simultaneously cancelled their flights to America's entertainment capital. Among them, the number of visitors from Canada decreased by nearly 20%, a worrying sign, as Canada accounts for up to 20% of Vegas's total international visitors. This emptiness doesn't come from a single cause, but from a cascading domino effect. From complex border tariffs and visa policies, to hidden costs that make tourists feel ripped off, and CEO strategies increasingly focused on whale hunting, targeting the ultra-wealthy group that makes up 20% of customers but generates up to 80% of profits. In that picture, the middle class and working class visitors, who were once the lifeblood of Vegas, gradually felt unwelcome. And when the frustration builds up enough, it turns into action. Tourists chose to turn their backs, and the consequences were immediately apparent. Many hotels on the Strip were forced to reduce prices by 25 to 50% compared to the listed rate, and even waived the long controversial resort fee to attract guests back. But once trust is broken, it's almost impossible to repair. Airplane seats remain empty, hotel rooms stay cold, and the massive casinos slip into an early hibernation in the middle of summer. The real tragedy is that while tourists can always choose another destination, it's the very people who kept the dream of hitting it big, in Vegas, alive, who are the first to be erased from the game. Due to a sharp decline in the number of customers, a series of casino employees were put on on-call status, waiting for shifts without knowing if they would be called. This means they could go days without working, or their income could be reduced to the point of exhaustion. In just the past month, Las Vegas has lost a net 4,300 jobs, 4,300 disrupted lives, 4,300 empty employee lockers, and 4,300 families forced to recalculate every utility bill and meal. Even those who are scheduled don't fare any better. Many service workers on the Strip admit that their income from tips has decreased by 30–50% compared to before, due to fewer customers and more cautious spending. A female employee shared, "The bills just keep piling up, and I'm not sure where my family's next meal will come from anymore." It's a harsh reality, when a job that once guaranteed a livelihood suddenly becomes nothing. While CEOs proudly report saving billions of dollars from restructuring, workers' wallets are getting emptier every day. To put it more simply, when the tourism economy falters, it's only the workers who bear the brunt of the burden. The vicious cycle just keeps repeating. Tourists are tightening their belts, Restaurants and hotels are forced to cut hours, and employee incomes continue to plummet. News about closures and restructuring is becoming increasingly frequent. The Poker Palace in North Las Vegas, a piece of community memory since 1974, has just announced its closure, ending over 120 jobs. Although this business didn't disappear completely, but was transferred to Truckee Gaming LLC. The income gap for hourly employees remains a painful reality. In just one night, a financed car can become a burden, daily meals can turn into calculations to be measured, and a roof that was once thought to be sturdy can suddenly become a bubble ready to burst at any moment. The glitzy stage of Vegas now seems to have no need for the supporting actors, those who kept the lights shining brightly for decades. A city can endure a few slow quarters, but it cannot prosper if the labor force, the people who support all the lights, is excluded from the stage. And if the American dream stage has begun to close its curtains on those who built it, where else is there room enough to keep the promise of equality for all? And as thousands of workers are struck off the rolls in a single statistic, the burning question arises: what awaits them on the morrow? Because many people have stepped straight from a five-star hotel onto the sidewalk. As tourists fled, the tourism industry, the lifeblood of Las Vegas, immediately faltered. And as that blood vessel weakened, the casinos, which once generated over 27% of the city's jobs, slowed down. The resulting consequence is that thousands of people lost their jobs, sliding from a warm home onto the streets. If you step into Vegas in 2025, you'll find that betting here no longer takes place solely in casinos. Another bet has begun: the survival battle of those who once made Vegas glorious. Images of tent camps, which were once only associated with impoverished downtown areas, are now appearing right in the heart of the Strip, the most luxurious avenue in the United States. In a place that should only have light and happy music, rows of makeshift tents have now sprung up, built from scraps of fabric and wooden pallets. In the 115-degree of heat, hundreds of people huddled together trying to survive, just a few steps away from the million-dollar roulette tables. According to the Southern Nevada Homeless Continuum of Care, as of early 2025, Clark County has recorded nearly 8,000 homeless individuals. The actual number could be much higher if you include those living in broken cars, underground ditches, or under overpasses. The bitter truth is, these are not strangers drifting into Vegas. They were once part of the Vegas machine: a single mother who cleaned rooms, a shuttle bus driver who took guests from the airport, a veteran who believed the country wouldn't abandon them. Despite having 150,000 hotel rooms in the city, thousands of people cannot find a safe place to rest. More concerningly, homelessness has spread throughout the Strip, with a 56% increase in just 3 years. A level that even tourism managers admit is difficult to control. On TripAdvisor or Yelp, a slew of gloomy reviews appear. Tourists are harassed, walk the streets reeking of waste, or witness fights over sleeping space. One person wrote, "I can't enjoy my vacation. The chaotic atmosphere makes the Strip worse than ever." Even large hotels like the Flamingo and Luxor were forced to increase their night security budgets and post warnings against walking after 10 p.m. Restaurant and souvenir shop owners lamented, "Customers aren't stopping anymore. They saw that site and left. My revenue has decreased by more than half since the tent camp went up. If this situation continues, one day I might end up in those tents myself." The homelessness crisis in Vegas is like a vicious cycle. More people lose their homes. Tourists are deterred. The economy weakens. Even more people lose their jobs and homes. It's no longer a simple cycle of crisis, but a vortex gradually sucking the light out of the city once considered immortal. If Las Vegas, a symbol of the resilience of the American economy, is also facing a chain of collapses, what awaits other cities? Are we no longer playing a game, but have been swept into a downward spiral, programmed to never stop. A city doesn't always collapse due to a single shock. Typically, it starts with small cracks, then chunks of concrete gradually fall off until the entire building has nothing left to hold onto. Las Vegas is the same today. From empty casinos, a chain reaction began, and its end wasn't a few empty card tables, but entire streets filled with people who no longer had homes to return to. In a recent report by the US Census Bureau, Las Vegas saw a significant slowdown in population growth, while the median income of many service sector households decreased by nearly 6% between 2021 and 2024. A seemingly small number, but for a community that depends on each shift, each tip, it's a sharp knife. When tourists disappear, not only do blackjack tables lose players, but laundries, casual restaurants, taxi services, and even small roadside grocery stores also decline simultaneously. A local bus driver said that in just 1 year, the number of trips carrying passengers from the airport to the city center decreased by more than a third. A souvenir shop owner admits that monthly revenue is less than half of what it was before the pandemic. These stories don't need official numbers to prove them, because the people of Vegas can see with their own eyes. Neighborhoods that were once bustling are now deserted, with only the lights reflecting on empty sidewalks. And from that emptiness, another vortex opened up. Workers lost their jobs, which meant they couldn't pay their rent. Affordable apartments, which were already scarce, are now fully occupied, forcing many families onto the streets. In less than 3 years, the reported number of homeless people in Nevada increased by over 15%. HUD Annual Homeless Assessment Report 2024. These dry numbers transform into a vivid spectacle on the Strip. Tent camps spring up amidst the neon lights, creating a breathtaking contrast. Not only that, the spread of the crisis also had a negative impact on the tourism industry. Many online reviews from tourists reflect feelings of unease, from being harassed while walking to witnessing conflicts right in the middle of public transportation stations. When the city's image becomes associated with chaos, potential tourists will reconsider the destination. A travel expert once said, "Every tent camp that pops up on the Strip is like a temporary stop sign, forcing visitors to turn back." Faced with this situation, some businesses have tried to turn things around. Some hotels are experimenting with reducing or eliminating hidden fees to regain trust. Some community funds are seeking to build more affordable housing with the cooperation of major real estate corporations. Marriott International recently announced a partnership with the city to partially fund a housing-first project aimed at providing new beginnings for the homeless. These are stopgap measures, but at least they show that a door is still opening. If a symbol once considered unbreakable like Las Vegas is falling into this domino effect, what awaits other cities that are also dependent on tourism and services? Can we stop the next dominoes from falling, or are we all just caught in a chain reaction that started long ago? In places where neon lights still shine brightly, it's perhaps difficult to imagine that just a few blocks away, a completely different reality is unfolding. People struggling with poverty, crime, and despair. Las Vegas has long been known as the city that never sleeps. But recent statistics reveal a disturbing truth. As the economy falters, crime and poverty begin to spread like an uncontrollable spiral. According to the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Annual Report, in Nevada alone, the rate of serious violent crimes increased by nearly 7% in 2023. Analysts say the cause is not only due to the weakening of the tourism economy, but also to the increase in the homeless population, who are prone to despair and conflict. Although no study has directly shown a causal relationship, many communities around the Strip have faced the reality that arguments, petty theft, and even street violence have become more frequent. A longtime resident of North Las Vegas shared that his store had to close earlier than usual due to safety concerns. The neighborhoods that were once bustling in the evening are now quiet. Some small business owners say that revenue has decreased, not only because of the absence of tourists, but also because local residents are afraid to go out after sunset. The feeling of fear gradually replaced the image of the city of entertainment that had been promoted for decades. Despair can easily lead to a loss of direction. Many sociologists point out that when workers lose their jobs, homes, and hope, the risk of substance abuse increases significantly. Unverified stories about tent camps becoming breeding grounds for drugs and violence further unsettle the public. Despite the city government's efforts to deploy additional security forces, addressing the root causes remains a distant goal. Looking at the bigger picture, the concern isn't just about crime statistics or poverty rates. The core issue is the rift within the community. When a city cannot protect those who once contributed to its construction, social trust also gradually breaks down. A dangerous cycle began. Poverty led to insecurity. Insecurity reduced tourism, and reduced tourism in turn led to more job losses. And this cycle continues, as if no one has the strength to stop it. If Las Vegas, a city once considered a symbol of vitality and luxury, is now struggling with poverty, crime, and despair, what does that portend for other communities across America? Can we find a path to recovery, or have we gone too far down the spiral for anyone to pull us back? There was a time when Las Vegas was the shining dream of the American West. This city was once likened to an oasis of hope, where people found opportunities to change their lives overnight, and where the neon lights never went out. But today, many observers are calling Vegas by a different, more bitter name, the Detroit of the West. This comparison isn't meant to sensationalize, but to highlight a concern that if Detroit once lost its soul due to the collapse of the auto industry, Las Vegas could be heading down a similar path with its tourism and entertainment industry. Detroit was once the world's automotive capital, but its complete dependence on a single industry made the city vulnerable to collapse when the automotive industry declined. From a city with over 1.8 million residents in the mid-20th century, Detroit lost nearly 2/3 of its population in just a few decades, leaving behind thousands of abandoned homes and deserted streets. According to data from the US Census Bureau, Detroit's population has decreased by over 60% since 1950. That image has become a warning to all cities that are overly dependent on a single source of revenue. Las Vegas is currently facing a similar risk. This city is built on the tourism industry, with hundreds of thousands of jobs directly or indirectly linked to casinos, hotels, and entertainment services. When tourism decreases, the entire machinery also slows down. Experts believe that Vegas's excessive focus on luxury and the mass tourism market has turned it into a one-industry city, similar to Detroit in the past. Just one long slide, and the entire local economy could lose its footing. In light of this situation, many large corporations are testing economic diversification solutions for Vegas. Amazon has invested heavily in its logistics system in Nevada, promising thousands of jobs outside the tourism sector. Tesla, with its gigafactory located near Reno, also demonstrates the potential for a technology energy corridor to form across Nevada. While it cannot immediately replace the tourism industry, these are necessary steps to avoid a second Detroit scenario. The big question that remains is, will Vegas dare to learn the lesson of Detroit? A city once built to challenge the desert now faces challenges from its own economic model. If changes aren't made in time, the neon lights might still shine, but beneath them will be a hollowed-out city. And if a city once dubbed Paradise is now burdened with the moniker Detroit of the West, where will this downward spiral's next destination be? Can we prevent another American legend from becoming a desolate memory? Or is it too late to keep the light on in Vegas? There are cities that have fallen into the abyss, but then found a way to climb back up. New York experienced a financial crisis in the 1970s, nearly going bankrupt, but ultimately recovered by restructuring its budget and reinvesting in the community. The question is, can Las Vegas find a similar escape? Or will it be consumed by its own one-dimensional economic model? The solution is never simple, but there's one common thread in every recovery. Change must come from the root. Vegas can't rely solely on hotel room discounts or free services to attract tourists back. Those are just temporary measures. The bigger problem lies in the absolute dependence on a single industry. When the entertainment machine stopped running, the whole city shook. That's why many experts are calling for Las Vegas to diversify its economy and create new pillars to reduce pressure from the tourism industry. According to a 2023 report by the Brookings Institution, Nevada is among the states with the lowest investment in research and development in the United States, accounting for less than 0.5% of the state's GDP. This number presents both a challenge and an opportunity. Vegas can absolutely leverage its young workforce and strategic location to attract technology, logistics, and renewable energy industries. If Reno could become the site of Tesla's battery manufacturing plant, there's no reason Vegas couldn't develop a regional technology or medical center. Alongside this, the issues of affordable housing and community support also need to be placed on par with economic strategy. As thousands are pushed onto the streets, the housing-first solution, prioritizing providing shelter before addressing other issues, has been proven effective in many places. Salt Lake City significantly reduced its homeless population by implementing this policy, and experts believe Vegas can absolutely learn from it. Behind the statistics are thousands of families who need a lifeline to start over. Some corporations have seen an opportunity to be part of the solution. Google recently announced plans to expand its data center in Nevada, promising thousands of high-tech jobs. These aren't just numbers. They're a signal that the future could be different if the city dares to step outside its familiar comfort zone. Such investments not only create new jobs, but also send the message that Las Vegas is not just about gambling. It can also bet on intelligence and innovation. Of course, there's no single formula to end the nightmare, but clearly, a city cannot live on illusionary light alone. Vegas needs a stronger foundation where both visitors and residents feel they belong and can trust that tomorrow will be better than today. If a city once called paradise is now struggling in crisis, what will we do to protect the remaining values? Will Las Vegas become a testament to rebirth, or will it be listed among faded American dreams? Las Vegas was once built as a dazzling stage where every American dream had the chance to shine. But today, behind the neon lights is the darkness of temporary tents, homeless families, and workers who have been pushed off the stage. It wasn't just the tragedy of a city, but also a wake-up call for an entire nation. If even the entertainment paradise could fade away, where else was safe enough to nurture dreams? Are we witnessing an unstoppable spiral, or will this be the moment for America to find a new path? And more importantly, what kind of future will the next generation inherit if the cities that once symbolized hope become symbols of despair? If you feel what's happening in Vegas raises bigger questions about where you're living, share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like and share this video so more people can learn about it, and subscribe to the channel to continue joining us in our next stories. The content in this video is compiled from various public sources and available reports, and is intended solely for analysis and information sharing purposes. We are not making any affirmative statements, nor are we intending to attack or accuse any individuals, organizations, or governments. All data and examples presented are subject to change over time, and viewers should consult additional reputable sources for a more comprehensive perspective.